Alrighty, hello everyone. I hope you're having a great day. So today we are going to be continuing our work on the new Nebulon-B and just trying to get that general shape of what we want our ship to look like down. And we will be joined in chat by some of our SOS members who are out having fun mining. So they'll provide a little bit of talking point so we can have some nice chatter while we're building. And it's going pretty solid, Cookie. Yeah, not too bad of a day, so yeah, figured we could do some Nebulon-B building today. So let's swap over, and I'll introduce you to our guys. Alright, I am back. How are you guys doing?
I'm just chilling out, mining as much ore as I possibly can. Turns out, if you chill out, listen to a podcast, the amount of ore you can bring in is ridiculous. I'll show you when I get back.
Okay. Yeah, I think the other day we were actually discussing, was it, I think it was with Mouse. He was saying, like, because he needed ores for something, and I was like, just go to Gorilla. Gorilla will hook you up. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I sorted him out with the ores that are requested. Basically power leveled him to the reconstruction machine.
yeah, and that is what we like to see. Oh yeah, Lazy Max. Yeah, it's stream time for the next 2 weeks. That is.
The amount of ore I've managed to pick up, I think out of the last count it was like 400 stacks of Bastium and pretty much a similar amount of everything else.
You know, that's gonna be really handy because so the ship that I am currently working on. Oh, is the game not? Shoot. Okay, the game isn't changed on Twitch. Shoot. Hold up. Starbase. Thanks for the heads up. But so the ship I'm building, it's a bare bones. It's already requiring 826 stacks of ore.
Oh, we'll have that, don't you worry.
Awesome.
Mining Team Gorillazilla is on the case.
Hell yeah. And Mo, SOS is not a puppet, and won't be. And hey, Forenza, I saw your thing, and I'm going to respond to that right after stream. It's just taking some consideration. But yeah. Pain time. So, you know, it would have probably been smart to bring up my reference material ahead of stream. It would have been smart. Time to remember where I put it. But let's see, inspiration. Here we go. Okay. So the front of our ship is gonna. This whole area right here is gonna be curving inwards. It's gonna be kind of triangular shaped, reminiscent of the Morgan class we were trying to design. So this area.
That's an amazing ship.
Yeah.
I really want to man the torpedoes on that one.
The Morgan or the Nebulon that I'm building?
I really want to man the torpedo launchers. I want to be loading them. I'll be like the trained bear loading artillery shells in World War II.
Hell yeah. Dude, I can't wait until that's done, but I need to get it from CA first. That's the issue. And so I think what we'll start with right now on stream is we're going to build kind of the top part of the ship. Like, figure out our top form.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Look in that frame. Very utilitarian. I'm watching the stream now.
Okay, yeah. It's very bare bones right now. I'm just trying, because this is, you know, how I always start with big ships. We're trying to get a feel for what exactly we're kind of looking for. And this front area, I'm not sure that's exactly what we're looking for right now. But that's Mo, that's Gorilla. Here, let me... I'm trying to see... here we go. Okay. So what I'm talking about is on the front of our ship, we've got um, like this part and how it like sticks out the front, but over here on our reference material, it's more flat and kind of like inlaid. I guess I might have to change that around a little bit. And Max, I don't know why your 3D model was colorless. I was really confused by that because it shouldn't be by all accounts, but you know, there it is. Alright, but I'm gonna mess with this front a little bit because I kind of want to get this so it lines up with that. I want to do this. And, alright. Thanks, Blaze. Appreciate it. I'm glad to see that, a lot of people are really enjoying them. So what I'm thinking is we take this part out and make this flat, and then we just have an extension out the front of beams and plates to make it. Because I feel like I'm going to be using a lot of Morrigan build techniques in this ship. I need to ask Kai. Kai's one of the devs who I am in contact with a lot. When they plan on being able to port the actual files over from closed alpha. Because, yeah, it's a little bit iffy. And, Mo, we've got well over 100 rescues by now. So, your doubts are unfounded.
Yeah, that rescue by Ace was awesome. He basically set out there in a ship that was never designed to do it, just to see if he could. And he rescued that fella from like 700 kilometers out.
Yeah.
He had a problem with a fuel rod. I'm sure Ace will tell you more about it. It's quite a story.
Hey, what's up?
So I
Hey, Chaz.
How you guys doing?
Good. We're just about to listen. Ace has a fun story about one of his rescues.
Go on,
my
Ace.
first rescue that I'd never done any of them before, and I took a Trident T1, which has about a range of maybe 200 kilometers. And it was a guy I was talking to, and he was stuck out there, and hopped in the channel, and someone was already trying to save him in a ship that was well more than capable, but he had technical difficulties getting out there with his Wi-Fi. And then he hit an asteroid with his ship, and it destroyed it. And so the guy had already been waiting there for hours. So I was like, yeah, it's middle of the night, it's like 2 a.m., I'll see what I can do. I can slap a propellant tank to the bottom of this thing and see if I can make it out there. So I slapped a large propellant tank, filled it up, and headed out there. And I have the ISAN mono or quad mounted to this thing now. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I could probably do it. I've never been out that far. Fly out there, get about 600 kilometers out there, farthest I've ever been. And the guy's like, man, I've been waiting for someone to like rescue me for 12 hours. I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm like, oh no, all right. And so I was like, he gave me his ISAN cords. I'll just go out there and see if I can't find the ship. And I go out there, and then I remember him saying that he had slightly moved from those cords. So I got pretty close to the cords. I'm also not very good at navigating really at all.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to search around and couldn't find his ship, and I was like, oh man, I'm all the way out here. It's gonna take me, probably 5 hours to get back because I suck at trying to find a bearing. Just like, I'll just park in this gas cloud and wait. And I was like, I'll probably just go to sleep. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I should go to sleep. So I didn't go to sleep. I'd already been up hours. And he gets on the next day at 9 a.m. I'm still up talking to everybody, just watching streams, just trying to pass the time. And gets on, I find him and get him situated, and that get him situated. He gives me a bunch of ore, like Ketonium, Arcanium, and then I'm just like, yeah, all right, cool, this works. And then ditch that large propellant tank. It's empty. He refuels me because he has the capabilities of just refueling himself real quick, and he was already going to be sitting there doing that. So I top off and start to head back, and this whole time I'm thinking, I'm in that, I'm just outside the ice field. What I'll do is, on my way back, I'll grab a bunch of ice and I'll just refuel propellant. I have some tight, so just refuel my runs. This whole time not realizing that I need a crafting bench to do that, because I'm also kind of new. So I get to, not very far from that position, the right direction. I get about 200 kilometers away from that position, up the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, well, why can't I refuel propellant tanks? Why can't I do any of this? Turns out, I had to call for rescue. Gorilla was like, don't call for rescue. I'll just run out to you with your cords, and comes out and gives me a crafting bench, and then we ran back together. And this whole time it took over 24 hours for me to
Yeah.
do this rescue.
That trumps my rescue, which was like 8.5. So blooming hell, I take my hat off to you, mate.
Yeah,
Like-
that was actually my first rescue as well.
There we go.
There's a lot of firsts going on here.
Yeah.
First
well-
rescue of an SOS member, first rescue of an SOS member by an SOS member, first rescue in general.
Yeah, I wasn't even really ready for it because I'm just on the mining team.
Yeah,
I did it anyway
like-
because I was the only one on.
yeah. Like those mining ships, like, gotta say, you can't underestimate them because, they're made to be out there.
Yeah, well, plus on top of that, my Trident T1 is missing about half the body panels on it because I've nailed 3 asteroids on the way back.
Yeah.
The first one I hit was out of frustration because I was like, why can't I find the exit? Of course, I was, so tired that I didn't realize I was going the right way the whole time, thinking I was going the wrong way. And frustration, I'm like whipping around full speed in this thing, and I nailed an asteroid and knocked off all of the body panels. Didn't damage any thrusters, and knocked off 1 ore crate. I was like, and a couple of batteries. I was like, all right, you know what? I'll just slap those batteries back on there and put the ore crate back on. I
Yeah,
was like, I'm not worrying about anything else. And then Gorilla had to help me get out of there because I'm too damn tired.
I know it was a pain navigating because it was my first rescue. It was the first time using ISAT to navigate, and the range changes and it doesn't go X plus 100 plus 200 plus 300.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't do it normally. Like it rubber bands back and forth. It'll go like to 200, 300, 100, 400, 300, 600. It goes rubber bands back and forth.
And then it'll drop 1,000 and 2,000, and then it'll go up 2,000. You're like, oh my god, which way am I fucking going? You gotta. Sorry, my language is bad, but
You're good.
But yeah, gotta fly. You gotta fly like 10 kilometers just to tell what direction you're going.
The amount of time it took us to figure out that we were going the right direction to get up out of the belt. Remember that? We went the wrong way at first.
Oh yeah, we were trying to go down out the belt because we were already, negative Y 120,000, which is lower in the belt, 120 kilometers low in the belt. And so we're going up, and then he realizes that negative 95,000, 95 kilometers under the center of the belt. It's like, oh wait, we're going the wrong way. We gotta turn around. We're like, oh, good thing you caught it then. That we didn't have to travel almost twice the distance.
That would be rough.
But now I had to actually hop off last night. I was just too tired. I hit another asteroid on one of my cockpit beams. It did nothing. It just knocked off a ton of body panels again. The ship is still fully intact, and functional. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I should probably go to sleep 300 kilometers out.
Yeah.
So I was also helping someone else try to figure out their Trident. Somehow their thrusters rename themselves. And so I'm not a coding genius. I don't know anything about really any of this stuff. I just copy paste, right? So I'm like, well, I don't know what's wrong with your ship, but I do know that we have the exact same ship. So why don't I just figure out the names of my ship, and then you just post those names in there, and then it worked. And we're like, hey, look at that. And he was extremely frustrated, and so he was just like, dude, you're awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I'm so glad my ship is fixed, because he had been grinding for hours just to get the ship to get rid of the laborer.
Mhm.
and I had recommended it to him, and he thought it looked super cool. I'm like, hey, it's a good ship,
Yeah.
especially for, just outside of the zone mining or even inside the zone mining.
hmm
And apparently, it's good for rescues. Way the hell
Yeah.
out there if you really.
Also,
Frankenstein.
Lazy, you did not miss anything. And
He was
Mo,
super ecstatic to have his ship fixed, and
keep it low. Keep it low,
I
okay?
had to deal with that, and so I was already like 200 kilometers further than I should have been. And I'm just like, I'll just go to sleep. And now I am 100 kilometers away from the stations, just getting back.
Yeah.
Still on that adventure, by the way.
Jeez.
Yeah, man, jeez, that's a hell of an adventure. But I'll take my hat off to you.
So now I'm gonna build one of Sparko's ships that can actually do that, or at least have a platform for me to Frankenstein to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Nice. And Chaz, I am streaming, so just heads up.
Okay.
Right, so I think a lot of the angles on the ship I'm working with are like 45 degrees, or at least I hope so.
I've noticed with using a lot of angles, though, you'll find like really tiny gaps in beams that be really annoying.
Yeah, actually, it's been getting pretty decent with these. A lot today, I haven't gotten any really like misaligned beams, and I think that's because I'm actually doing it properly. So
Yeah, I tried to make a ship that was going to be like a small, like a tow rig, something that just goes out, grabs something that's just outside the belt, a few 100-kilometer range. And I was doing the frame, and I was using 45s because, I build stuff and try to make it look with style a little bit, not just a box.
yeah.
And I was using the 45s, and I'm just like, okay, why do I have like 400 beams here that are like inch away from the rest?
Mm-hmm.
Not able to weld. I'm just like, ugh. So then I scratched it, and then I made the tandem SOS.
Yeah.
I might actually build that little thing just to see what it can do.
Yeah. Also, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And it is 91 degrees Fahrenheit out right now, but see, the thing is, there's the part where it says it feels like 104 degrees, which I'm more worried about. Are you guys Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius for me.
Celsius,
I mean, I'm
it's
in
like-
United Kingdom.
It's 20
Ah.
degrees where I'm at in Yorkshire. What about you?
Let me figure out what
Yeah.
this is.
Measuring freedom units. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. That's a bullshit statement.
To translate to British units, it's 33 degrees Celsius, but the feels like is, what is that? It's 13 degrees higher in Fahrenheit, so like probably at least like 38.
It's only 16 degrees here in Wales.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah, jeez,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm in Leeds and it's 20 degrees and I hate it. I have a fan and everything, so if you hear my fan, just tell me and I'll knock it off. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty cool here on Limey Isle, just off the coast of Europe.
Yeah.
We can handle a little bit of fan noise when we don't want, someone to be sweating their ass off.
Yeah, it's
Play a
not
game.
bad.
Thank you.
All right. Building big ships again, there's no time to want to make a small ship. Like, you just start building a big ship and you're like, the vibes are kind of off right now. Maybe later.
Yeah, that's the same through my ship.
See me, I'm too stubborn. I'll sit there and be like, yeah, I'm building this big ship, but I really want to build this small ship that just popped in my head because I'm a little nuts.
Yeah,
And then I'll
Exactly.
continue.
I need to do the thruster groups and the center of mass, but there's like 50 pink dots with a center of
Oh.
mass. Just like, Lord have mercy on my soul.
See, Chaz, what you want to do is, have you seen the ship I'm working on at all?
No, I can have a look if you want.
All right, yeah, because the pro tip to not having tons of thruster groups is to just, slap on 5 plasma thrusters and call it a day.
I mean, I have, let me see, like 40 triangle thrusters and like 15 box thrusters, but I'll take your advice.
Dear God. I was telling Gorilla earlier, the cost for this ship, materials alone, with just an uncompleted beam structure and 5 plasma thrusters, is already 826 stacks of ore.
Oh yeah, I can get that easily enough.
Yeah.
Mine's like 300 odd thousand, and it's like, I don't know, like 80k bastion.
Jeez.
But it might be like lower than that, but I'm just kind of eyeballing it.
Yeah. Well, jeez. Either way.
Yeah. How much is that gonna set you back in materials?
The one I'm building?
Mm-hmm.
A lot. In the end, it's probably going to be it's probably going to be around 1,500 stacks at least.
Yeah.
But the main issue, I think, is going to be the price to build it out of the ship designer.
Does it have special stuff it needs, like?
Oh, this is gonna, yeah. Like, already we need moon ores. Like the Ymmirium stuff, the moon ore, we already need 137 stacks of that.
Oh, is that why people are saying it's...
What?
Is that why people saying it's super rare? Is because they don't know how to get it on the moon?
Yeah.
The moon is kind of new territory, to be fair.
Like, it was actually bugged. You couldn't even pick it up on the moon. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. That's weird though, because I've actually seen people trying to sell it on the marketplace before this last update. I saw one stack trying to be sold, and it was trying to be sold for like 60 million. I'm just like, oh.
Jeez.
Okay. And somebody must have bought it because it was gone shortly after that.
Yeah. I kind of agree with what Lazy is saying in the chat. It's probably going to be a smarter idea to produce this at one of our stations once we have factory halls, because what we can do is, instead of paying the cost like in the ship editor, you just go through and fill it in manually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm building a simple ship just because it's a really early stage to alpha. I'm building a simple box ambulance ship.
Yeah.
Just leaving it at that. So if I need to add stuff in, I can put stuff in. It's going to be a general... it'll be like a general ship that I can use for anything.
Mm-hmm.
For rescues, I can put stacks of crates of fuel rods and propellant. But if I wanted more generalized, I could just take stuff out, do whatever. Yeah.
The random black line has returned. That is because I did not switch our thing back. There we go. I need to figure out what's causing that random black line, because that random black line is very annoying.
I actually have an idea that I want to toy around when I actually get back of a deep space refuel vehicle. Deep in the belt.
Man, I wish we had like 5-degree angles.
Yeah.
Because like this 15-degree, it's too much. I need a really like shallow angle.
I'm gonna be honest, I wish shipbuilding was a lot more easier.
Yeah.
Well, the more parts you start adding, the harder it's gonna. Because then
true.
you're gonna have to really be good at geometry to figure out all those angles, or at least I don't want to say good at it, but decent.
I think the future might be in procedural parts, but they're similar to the mod for Kerbal Space Program, where you literally just stretched and bent parts to the shape you wanted them.
Yeah.
It sounds like that would have a lot of bugs, though, especially with like integrity. Like, would the beam that you stretch to fit have the same strength as another beam?
Yeah, it seemed to work in the mod for Kerbal Space Program, and that was a realistic space simulator. It seemed to work out.
Yeah, we're talking about two completely different types of games, different engines.
Yeah.
You know, that one's like point click and watch what they do. This one is like actually doing it.
You'd be surprised how much game engines have in common. Usually the game engine is a framework, and the actual code for things that work in it is sort of almost modular.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust it, to be honest. It just sounds like something that would break a lot. Or you'd have a bug where it just like goes flying off or something, and you're just like, what? Why'd that go away?
That's me whenever I assemble a ship.
Or, you know, it could be it gets shot by a certain weapon and it shatters instead of just getting pierced like normal. Just shatter and the whole thing. That one beam or whatever, and then you're just...
Well, I think a procedural beam would basically just be spawning smaller beams and then just putting a mesh over it, you know, smaller beam entities. And then altering the rotation of them for angles. So it'd still be a very similar thing, just it'd look like it's stretching on a, you know, an outside level, you know, at least from the model, yeah. But the actual collision and the entities would be pretty the same. As in you just spawn more entities to make a bigger beam. Just like put more blocks together.
I mean, your logic is sound, but I've played a lot of games where they start messing with stuff and weird stuff starts happening.
Well, hey, I mean, there's plenty of weird stuff to find out in STARBASE.
Oh yeah, and the things that are wrong, we definitely need to criticize in a positive way. Because
Yeah.
we saw what happened in Star Citizen, where everyone's like, "Oh, it's because it's alpha. It'll be fine. You know, they're working on it. They'll all be okay. Yeah. Oh, these guys, they know what they're doing. Yeah. Oh, you can't criticize the game. It's an alpha. How dare you criticize our dream? We will censor you." And so they lost a lot of that a positive development resource, which is, you know, basically constructive criticism, and we saw where that took the game.
Yeah, and it's kind of a shame.
I mean,
Damn.
that game has been a cash cow for years.
It
Just
is
now
improving.
people are starting to realize it.
There are some improvements starting to go on now. The devs are.
So Mo, this is, I would say, this is a little bit more difficult in the beam structure, so far. But since we're gonna be able to skip out on actually like doing the, we're gonna be able to skip out on doing the rounded front. It'll be easier in the long run.
Doing shit, and it's just, I couldn't give them another penny, even if they released everything and more that they had promised. So
Me at this point, I think you just swallow the salt and give it a chance. I'd just be a salty sea dog playing it now.
I saw one of the guys I met in Star Citizen, he was one of the people who had spent thousands of dollars on the game, and you know,
I know about it.
Like, yes, it's great, but I don't know how to validate it.
So get this, I actually knew a guy, I knew quite a few guys that spent thousands of dollars, but this guy actually made it a goal in his life to spend $15,000 in that game on ships. I knew another guy that had spent $20,000 on ships. And then I knew another guy who actually put his house up for a second mortgage to buy the $23,000 ship pack.
Jeez.
Can you imagine spending $23,000 on in-game items in a game where 80% of those in-game items you bought are JPEGs? They're literally just pictures. That's it.
Yeah.
That is like the brainwashing of the community that they do to people. They make it seem like it's just this huge goal and it's so great to spend, you know, more money than I've ever even seen in my life on something that you'll never see, or at least you won't see for a very long time, and that's a big if.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that money was spent on marketing as well. CIG, to their credit, has one of the best marketing departments of any company I've ever seen. I
That's
do not
probably
know
why they
why.
make so much money off ships.
Yeah, I do not know why that marketing company is working for CIG and not some multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Because they probably are working for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Are you kidding me? You know how many ships they've sold? You know how much money they sell those ships for? They're making bank, and they don't even have to sell anything. Half of the time, they're just selling pictures.
But they are making like real ads and everything, and it's fascinating to see.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the commercials for the ships and all that, they're sick as fuck. You're looking at them, you're just like, oh, dude, I really want this ship because that looks awesome. But then you get it in the game and you play it, and you're like, everything that was ever announced in that trailer is something that they're talking about, you know, is in the future. But at the rate they're going, it's like, yeah, 15 years, good luck.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just sitting there and, like, say a Valkyrie, and you're like, yeah, 20 people in a truck I could drop off in a battle zone. It's like, yeah, that's half the server, guy. Good luck.
Yeah, I've been waiting so many years to be able to have a good time in a constellation. It's why I actually got the game. I actually got a constellation. I thought, right, this would be brilliant to play with my brothers, you know. We'll take turns doing the piloting and gunning and have adventures and meet new people, because there's a brilliant community. I mean, you could go out there and a lot of people would not be hostile, yeah? And sometimes there'd be some newbies, they'd be under attack from pirates, and then, you know, you could go help, you could do crazy stuff, yeah? But the constellation has just been kind of junk from the start. I mean, when they put it in the game,
a lot better. But
They
yeah, it was
they
the
did add
opposite.
the, what is it, the P50 Merlin. They do have that now, at the least.
Yeah, but I thought you couldn't dock it back to the
You
ship.
you can, yeah,
yeah, you
Really?
can knock it back now.
yeah. They just added it in a recent update.
I haven't played the game in probably 2 years. I look at the updates that they have, and every time I look, I get kind of disappointed because I remember what they said the last time I looked at it, and then I look at what they released and what they're updating, and things that they said they were going to release actually got removed from the roadmap or pushed farther back. And it's like, what are you doing? Or like, do you guys not have any actual set goals? Like, how do you guys not focus on the things that you say you're going to focus on? And that's the part that makes me so mad about them, is that they never. It's like looking at a squirrel development team. They're just all over the place. They're never consistent.
The Connie, when they launched it, yeah, it was meant to have like size 4 guns on it, so, you know, proper good turrets, yeah. The mad thing is, and I don't know why they did it, they launched it with like size 1 pea shooters on the turrets. It's completely useless.
And someone in chat said, like, you know, the you spend, like, when you buy a game, you know, you kind of want to get the most money per game hour out,
Right.
and like with Star Citizen, it's just completely disproportional.
Oh yeah, I mean, I fell into that whole, you know, brainwashing trope, how great the game could be. I spent $700 in that game, and I that was the dumbest thing I could have ever done when it came to video games. I didn't even put 1,000 hours into that game. Probably
Yeah.
400 hours.
A lot of the enjoyment from Star Citizen when I used to play it, yeah, was from the community and the people who used to play it. Do you remember Security Post Korea? And we have papers and Dan Giesling and Catnuts and all the Warbot. Oh, brilliant times.
I don't remember any of the clans. I mean, I was in a clan for like the longest time that was like kind of anti-piracy mercenary group, and we would just go to Korea just to fight people that wanted to shoot at others for going there to do the mission or
that's
whatever.
what we used to do. And we have papers. What they used to do is to do this fun stuff, yeah, where we'd check people's UE papers were in order. It's like, do you have your papers? And they're like, you know, we'd have some fun with them, yeah. And then we search their ship for contraband for letting them into Security Post Korea.
Yeah, I think me and my group have actually fought.
Hey Blade, doing well. How are you doing this evening? And welcome to the stream. But so for anyone who's just joining us, right now we're just working on the beam structure of the Nebulon-B, and we're also having a kind of just discussion about space games. Right now we're really talking about Star Citizen and kind of all of the stuff that's been going on with that recently. Along with that, let's see, where was I? Yeah, so Lazy, what you were saying, like, the small pirate sees this come in, like, I would love to see the reaction of that, because I know a lot of people are going to be streaming the game. I would love to be able to see, you know, what a pirate would think of just seeing, I hope it looks closer to this, but this just pop out of warp into it right in front of them with tons of guns, missiles, all that delightful things. Yeah. Also, see, this slope is going to be interesting, because what I'm trying to do right now, so what you guys just saw is me completing this slope. So from the neck right there to the flat area in the back, that's what I just completed, the top area. But doing that slope where it follows it in and then we get that flat cut off is going to be interesting. So yeah, we're doing that. Next, I think we might do this like down area just to make it easier, because that's pretty simple, straightforward. So yeah.
Yeah, we can't talk about Star Citizen all day, so I'm thinking Starbase. I mean, the things that are good about Starbase, the persistence. I'm amazed at how persistent everything is. I mean, everything's exactly the same when you log into the game. Yeah, you log in exactly where you were. Exactly everything on your ship is exactly the same way you left it. The asteroid next to your ship is all broken up exactly the way you left it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it is awesome.
And
It's a continuous
I've been waiting on
story.
this game for years.
Yeah, and it's
So-
peer-to-peer too. So I don't know if you guys have heard those discussions with the devs, but they've said in the past, I'm not sure if this holds true still, but they said that, in the case, because we've seen like Worlds Adrift, and there was another one, something Oasis, Last Oasis, is that it?
Probably. MMO with the ships
Yeah.
that crawl on the ground.
Yeah, like a lot of those, if their main servers get taken offline, nobody can ever play their game ever again. But with Starbase, it's a fairly not disorganized, but decentralized structure. So, like,
you still need someone to host the.
you do, and that's why they were saying, like, what they might do is they might give out the package to host those servers. Like, so that if people still wanted to play Starbase, they could host the game universe.
Oh,
yeah.
themselves, so that they could still go around, but they just have to rent their own server to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if you're really dedicated and this is like the only game you play, I could see why you'd want to do that.
yeah, and also just occasionally for good memories.
So apparently, one of the guys in chat, Mo, if you've heard me refer to it, someone named Tin Bread, that's him. He wants to be a pirate. But apparently, like half of the streams right now, the like English streams, are pirate streams.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you get someone to be like, hey, watch my stream while I smack this rock for 5
Yeah.
hours?
I will say a lot of
I get
people do like mining streams, because like, you can kind of treat it as like a talk show with something going on in the background.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. If you can do it, I mean, that's great. But a lot of people, they're going to be looking for that excitement to see Starbase, so they want to see the piracy.
Yeah.
Because it's really the only like super exciting thing. Other than, hey, this is exciting. I'm going to go 800 kilometers out there, but it's going to take me almost as many hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not something someone would have probably wanted to watch. The story was better than the actual doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, my Discord just bugged out, so everything's fine now.
Cool.
Finally made it back. I'm
Yay.
at the station.
Also, I think I'm gonna leave the bottom of the ship wider than it is. Do we want to? You know what? We'll make it skinny. Design choices.
What are you building? The
Yeah, the Imperial Nebulon.
yes.
What comes to mind when I'm building this ship is literally just the Great British Baking Show, where they're like, decisions, all of them wrong. Like, that's exactly what it feels like. And then, yeah, Blade, like, we've had a couple pirate attacks. Have we had any more pirate attacks in the past day? I haven't heard anything from anyone.
I have yet to even see someone with guns on their ship, to be honest.
No, but we
Okay.
have quite a few pirate attack cases.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot more pirate attacks in SOS and against our members, but yeah, tons of people are putting out videos of it and all this stuff. It's getting a little
Oh
wild.
yeah, that
But
brings
like,
up
will we
a
pop
topic.
an SOS ship? Is that what you're talking about?
There's a
So
topic I'd like to discuss with you later on
all right,
about pirate attacks and information I'll need.
okay, but Ace, what were you saying?
So what are people like posting videos of like, hey, look at me, I shot an SOS ship?
No, it's not that they're shooting SOS ships. It's just that they're like pirating. Like that's just what they're doing for their streams.
There's like they're not targeting anyone. There's just like STARBASE PvP in, which is essentially shoot everything you see on site.
Yeah.
Dude, this is crazy. This guy is taking a Trident T1 and he's made it like 8 times the size. It's huge. He's just put a ton of beams. I think I don't even know how he did it, but he like attached another Trident T1 to it. Like those are just gonna be 3 packs, and it's just a whole shape of a ship in beams, and he's just slapping ore containers on it. This is insane.
Jeez.
Yes. The beauty of this game of slapping everything everywhere.
Yeah.
This guy is taking my Frankensteining fucking to the next level. I'm upset. I need to outdo this.
Language, my friend, language.
But I'm not sure about adding the 4th plasma thruster on the back of this ship. You already know how expensive this is.
Yes, let's mount some plasma cannon to it.
Yeah, eventually we're gonna add weapons. Right? Not right now though. I think we're gonna go for quad turrets.
Speaking of which, I actually want to make sure is mounted autocannon sufficient firepower as of right now?
As of right now, yes.
Okay, then I'm gonna hold the progress on that. By the way, this apparently is a bug that you have to you can only unlock the fixed weapon mount when you unlock the material scanner instead of you don't have that when you unlock the mounted autocannon.
That's weird.
That
Yeah,
is.
I discovered that today when Gorillazilla was asking. Well, actually, that's yesterday. Anyway,
Yeah.
Gorillazilla was asking me about this stuff.
Yeah, I was wanting to put a few autocannons on some mining ships, just as like a defensive armament.
Aye.
Yeah.
So are they not efficient? Are not an efficient source of firepower?
So in CA, they were considered kind of the lower end of firepower. Really, what was considered consistently, like I'd say, average mid-range, firepower is plasmas, because they consistently would deal better damage. Like with lasers and autocannons, you have to hit a bunch of times for it to actually break, like even an on-them plate. But with things like plasmas and railguns,
yes, the splash damage.
Yeah, the splash damage. And that's really what is very important, because the splash damage makes it so much easier to hit a bunch of plates. And if you're doing, like, a lot of people, what they do is they group up, say, like, as many plasmas as they could to hit on an area as they could. And what that would do is it totally decimate a ship, because wherever on the armor it hit, no matter how many plates they had, it would destroy it and do so much damage to the surrounding plates that it weakens almost the entire ship. Thanks for the follows, guys. Appreciate it.
So yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Group your weapons closely.
Yeah. So
I think one of the problem now is that armor plates, from my understanding, is nerfed significantly. So even autocannon can shred through, well, most things.
Yeah. It, like, nowadays, an autocannon and laser is plenty good because not many people are making like ships with actual armor on them, and especially a lot of these quote unquote pirates. They aren't making that. They're like going out on glorified laborers. Like,
They're the
yeah, they're looking for the cheapest thing to do.
yeah,
they're the equivalent of mounting a cannon or a machine gun to a Toyota Helix.
Yeah, it's like the Great Toyota War. Have you ever heard that one? Where
Oh,
Toyotas won
yeah.
a battle against tanks.
Yes, the president of the country, Chad, who is an absolute Chad, just leads his army that's built of Toyotas and win the war.
And
That's an amazing story. Who unfortunately died a few months ago.
yeah. That's an amazing story, but yeah, we don't want to go into world politics. Like,
Indeed.
as fascinating as it is, it can affect some
Yes.
stuff.
I'd stick to the technical details, like the fact that the Toyotas were so durable and so fast, they could drive across rough terrain at such a speed, the tanks could not hit them, and the Toyotas would just literally drive round to the side of the tanks and shoot them in the side armor where they were weak, with basically mounted launchers.
Jeez, that's
It's like,
quite smart though.
I mean,
We could-
Africa does have quite a bit of flat terrain,
Hmm.
flat-ish.
So, yeah, a third Nebulon someday. I swear, if I have to make another one of these bad boys, brain dead.
Well, you can always switch to a hammerhead.
Yeah, that too. I was thinking next up like a medical frigate or something, like from the Clone Wars. And Nathan, it's all good. It's all good being late. You're not as late as you usually are, so you got a lot of time. The ones that you would always see docked at the medical stations.
Yeah, I think there's like a metal podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, could be. Anyway, yeah, they're generally seeing less shape. Yeah.
Also, I think I'm just gonna leave the space for a third or fourth plasma thruster on the back, but I'm just gonna leave that area blank right now because we could totally just fit in a lot of really well armored like propellant tanks, generators, and we can have a really nice engineering deck in there.
Oh yeah, you could also add some side thrust or something like that if you need.
Yeah, we can definitely put in like maneuvering thrusters and stuff.
Or just for the sake of it, have backward mounted autocannons or lasers.
Yeah. Speaking of maneuvering thrusters, yeah, the fourth is looking good because it is built in a line, but I think it's just overkill right now.
PTU Silver for Starbase, what?
Yeah, what do you mean? Oh, the persistent test universe. Yeah. They're introducing a test universe for the new features that they are going to be adding in. So, like, you know, because we've had so many bugged features that get added into EA, they're kind of changing it around so that they can test it a little.
That would be indeed useful.
And yeah, are you guys thinking I should add in the... It's going to be smaller, so I can still fit in some generators there, but the fourth plasma is a good idea, just for kicks.
Actually, Sim, I have a question. How long is the thrust damage? It's thrust damage for a,
I think it's just as long as the trail is, the thruster trail, but also keep in mind, a lot of it hasn't been implemented yet.
I see.
And yeah, this is going to take forever to spool up. It's going to be hilarious.
This is something that came to my mind, like something in Space Engineers, like there's something I'd like to do is to have engines pointing inwards towards each other.
Oh yeah, and how it would only have a range of like 2-3 blocks of damage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
sadly we can't really do that. Like maybe you could do it on a really slow like tug ship, but yeah. Other
the
than
trail
that,
is absolutely massive. Yes.
mhm. Oh yeah, Mo. This ship is probably, I'm not sure if it's going to see the outside of a safe zone.
You could see it outside the safe zone. Just how long we would be outside in one piece.
Yeah. Now we're just going to reinforce all of this because we need to. Yes, of course, Nathan. Let's see what our limit's at right now, our building budget. That's comma... It's 7, we're almost at 1 billion. So we're at like 0.7 out of 20 out of our limit. So we're at 0.7 divided by 20. We're at essentially 3.5% of our maximum voxel volume right now. So nice.
I feel like they really need to add some commas to those really low numbers.
What do I need to add? Sorry.
Oh no, I'm saying the game should add like commas to the really low numbers.
Yeah, they definitely should. That would be very helpful. And but yeah, like if we did take this out of the safe zone, which we probably will, it's obviously going to be under heavy armed escort. And if people ever see this, like, hopefully they would think twice.
You see, the issue with that is in space, you don't see the scale unless you get really close.
Yeah.
Which I will assume they are already attacking.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, this is going to be a really heavy ship. Like, really heavy. That's 6 beams right next to each other. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find some inventive ways to actually make this be able to handle the amount of stress. Yeah, Nathan, we have a couple of Morgans defending this with, for those long-range attackers, and then we've got a bunch of just smaller fighters. Man, I really wish that we could get a hangar bay on here. If we could get a hangar bay on here, that would be perfect. Mo, that would be horrendous. But that's why we would only be going out with a certain amount of people. So Blade, yes, we do have a station. Actually, this weekend I could take you guys out there to the station, but we're not really doing too much with it since almost every station function is bugged right now. Which...
Except the storage.
Yeah. So, there isn't much purpose to designing one right now if the stuff you're designing it around is broken. Also, I didn't realize I had the black bars on the screen. Sorry about that, guys.
Delta ship will be railgun proof.
Yeah. Because ideally, we'll have at least 2 to 3 layers of exterior armor that's on them.
Yeah, that should be able to tank a few shots.
Yeah. This is like a 15. Ooh. We're gonna have to do like a 45-degree beam to get it up to here. But yeah, like the whole purpose is like the core bits of the ship, like they are going to be able to tank shots. Like imagine that in capital words flashing atop your screen. Unless you're epileptic, then don't do that. But like this will ideally be able to its core superstructure where everyone will be. Not sure how much of a guarantee for the gunners, because the gunners are probably going to get shot out pretty easily, even though they're going to be in enclosed spaces on board the ship. But we'll see.
That's where you'll need the reconstruction machine to replace lost gunners.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we'll have 4 on this ship.
And we should just bolt like auto cannon and shit like that. Just bolt stuff right outside
Yeah.
the construction machine.
Is it torpedo proof? Good question. Well, torpedoes are really annoying in the first place, so
Here's an idea. Spaced armor. Have just a plate that's held away from the main hull to detonate the torpedo, but protect the main hull from the blast.
Oh yeah, like World War II German armors, skirt armors.
you know what?
Exactly that.
Here, I have a great idea, alright? Once we start the plating part of this ship, why don't you guys hop in the group editor and help me make that? Because, you see, spaced armor is great, okay? But also, I like my sanity.
And it only has to be very light armor too, the lightest armor possible.
Because we could honestly just have like an exterior armor that's like Agesium, because that's lightweight and it's got an armor value on it. So, but yeah, I'm going to be bringing people in soon. Once we get the beam structure done, I'm going to start bringing people in to work in the ship editor with me. So, we'll start seeing that soon. TM.
I mean, isn't it incredible that you can do that? You can bring people to help you work on it.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know how I would have survived the first Nebulon if I couldn't have done that. Like, man. Because, like, I had Solon on the Yolol chips, figuring out all that stuff, which we are going to use that. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but there's, developed with the help of Solon, we got modular damage identification system. So,
Wait, that's possible?
yeah. Basically, it was accomplished by sending out pings across the ship by a centralized chip. Sending out pings across the ship to make sure it could still contact certain components. It wasn't like, connecting directly to the component. Like, we put like a little plate near it and put a device on it. Like, I think it was a screen or something. It was super cheap and real easy. But what that did was that made it very nice. And it would, if the thing were to be disabled or blow up, it would recognize it. Like, we put it on the bottom of the turret, like, bases. So when a turret got shot out, we knew it was shot out. Man, doing the back of this is really annoying.
That would indeed be handy, and yes, I can see why that would be the case.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this person said, if it's going to be a blade of armor to trigger the torpedoes, we could go with, like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea. The thin floor plating. Because that uses way less stuff than actual plates. And it will also still trigger the torpedoes.
Exactly what you need, just like the anti-missile netting of the
Yeah.
very thin oblique baits
Yeah.
on the panzers.
Alright. Stream, I've got a question for you, and if you guys are watching, let me know. I want to know which looks better. I'm trying to figure out which looks better, so I'm going to put these side by side, and I'm going to show you, and we're going to find out together. One more? Okay, I needed one more.
Blade, you see the issue is that level require YOLO chip, and YOLO chip will take 0.2 seconds to run anything, every line. So using YOLO to control turret is a very bad idea.
Yeah. Okay, so, stream. Which should I do? Which, like, angle should I do? Should I do the more abrupt, and then bring it up here? Maybe do a 15-degree beam and, like, bring it in here? Or should I just have it be stretching across like that? I kind of feel like what we could do with this 45-degree here is turn this into a 15-degree. Ah, yeah, pick. Alright, let's see a good side. So, like... Hold on, let me resize this. So, we'll do the 45... So, there's the 45-degree, which is the one in the middle, and the 30-degree. Oh god, it's like tied. Okay, how about... Alright, what do you guys think of this? Alright, what do you guys think of this? So we've got the 45 degrees right there. What if we did something like this?
That will make it more of an arc, which I don't know.
And then kind of just slowly like sloped it in.
That would be an arc. I don't know if that's the
That's too odd.
arc.
Yeah, it's more arced, which we want the straight lines. So most people said 30 degrees. It's actually quite a close pull.
45 for more space to tuck things in?
Well, so the 30 degree gives us more space. It takes a lot longer to reach the center or the core of the ship.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that one's a 30 then. I'm gonna vote 30 as well.
Yeah. You know, I could run an actual poll. Alright. Manage poll time. Alright.
Twitch does
New poll. Okay, question. 30 degree? Alright. Which beam structure? Only 45 degree? Sharp. Only 30 degree. Slopings. And then 45 degree with the curved bit on top. Alright. Duration 2 minutes. Alright. Vote so we can actually count it properly. And why not both?
Because there's only one slope.
Yeah, because it's true. Like, see, I want to do the 30 degree, but like on our pictures, it meets up with where this triangle does. So you guys see this triangle meeting up right here at the top. It meets up at the center where that is, which would be the 45 degree. But the thing is, we don't have a low enough slope. Actually, hold up. Okay. If we made this, instead of 45 degrees, 30 degrees, and it takes a lot longer to get out there. No, we can't do that, because it overarches this part right there.
You see, the issue with the original... Well,
We
what
could
is the
actually...
issue with the Nebulon-B is their next section is really easily targeted.
Okay,
So if you use a 30-degree, you will shorten a length that is...
we actually might have to restructure a lot of this. It looks like the top triangle is longer. Yeah. So what we could do, alright, is, so we've got a 45-degree beam here, and the 45 there. What if instead of this triangular part, we made this 30 degrees? So it reaches out a lot more, like roughly about there. And then we change this top part to 30 degrees as well. Then what we can do is we can have the 30-degree down here, and this part will be extremely extruded, but it'll work better all around. I think we might have to do a restructuring.
Oh, by the way, your vote has...
Yeah, 30-degree sloping has won. Alright. Let's save this. Yeah, we're gonna leave the front alone. Because we could just... Like, we've got this bit right here that we could theoretically extend. We're just working with not much time.
Or space, you're reaching.
Or, yeah, space, I mean. Because we've got a couple meters on either side.
But then again, we don't really need to do one-on-one replica, so...
Yeah, but as close as we can get.
Yes.
Okay. So, I guess you guys want me to do, 30 degrees, so let's get these 45-degree boys out of here. Let me move all this into position, and then I'll show you guys what I'm thinking next. So, right there, and right there. Alright. And yeah, 30 degrees, I think, is better all around. And mic blades, yeah, no problem. I'm glad that you're able to learn from them. And yeah, we gotta put our disco room somewhere in here. So, we're gonna have a lot of space on the front as well. But, okay, so, we've got the 30-degree beam here. If I pull up this, so you can see in all of these pictures, you see how the top, like, triangle bit, it kind of connects where the bottom does. So, like, there's almost a ring there. Sorry, excuse me. There's almost like a ring where both the top and bottom meet. So if I did a 30-degree, theoretically, they could meet at the same spot.
Enough, or close enough at least.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, so we saved. So we've got our last save. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tear this part of the ship apart and find out what we'll change it to. So instead of 45s, we'll get those suckers out of there and we'll change it to 30-degree. Alright. There we go. So 30-degree. And then it collides here, which is perfectly okay. So we want this collision just because it does meet where that center... Actually, we want to continue extending it out. What am I doing placing this early? But because we want it to extend out to there. So let's keep building this. I was like, man, I wish there's, a better way to describe what I'm doing than, and I'm like, wait a second, that's dumb. Did I fit a... No, we'd have to do a 36. Would a 36 centimeter even fit? It would. Okay, so basically like that. Then we'll find out a way to connect this. We might have to do it a little bit janky, but you guys know I'm not afraid of janky. And yeah, we could do a disco hallway in the center, but I just want to make it so that once we do have our disco thing. So actually, for anyone who doesn't know, on my large combat ships, one of the trademark things that I love putting in my ships is a disco room or some sort of disco thing. So, you know, partially for crew morale, but also just because once you start putting disco rooms in your ship, you also can't stop. So it's kind of just become a tradition to have at least some sort of disco thing on my ships. So, at least the combat ones, ever since the advent of the Nebulon-B. And, but yeah, we could do like a spiral lighting mode down the hallway, but I am trying to avoid giving anyone, like, especially on stream, a seizure from epilepsy.
Well, you could put it on the outside and give our enemies the seizure.
Now you're cooking with gas. All right.
Ah, yes, the asymmetrical PTSD caused 2-year-olds.
Yeah, I wish I'd never learned that the batteries were asymmetrical. I think a Skelly dipped from the stream the other day once we started talking about that. Would not be surprised.
Understandable.
Because I don't blame him either. And hey, nice Almsy. That's what we like to see. So how did I get the move tool to change the... Oh, so you just go to the rotate. It's hotkey 2, the rotate tool, and you click on it. Or you can press XYZ. And so, yes, the center bar is hollow. So what this is meant to be is this is meant to be the very strong core to the ship. So because of the structural forces that are going to be put on this thing, mainly because, I mean, just look at it. All right, that's not a normal ship, and we're dealing with, like, actual physics in the game. So we need to have a very strong core that can actually take these physics strains and stresses and translate it effectively so it doesn't rip apart. And yeah, so that's kind of why we're doing that.
To be honest, I don't know if that's enough.
It might not be. No, I actually don't think it is enough. But we do have a lot of room on the outside to add in extra beams. Because what we can do is we have enough room to do a whole other thick shell of beams.
Actually, you have space for like one one heavy armor plating, and then another layer of beam, and another layer of plating.
Also, if you guys see me like shaking like with my mouse and stuff, I'm sorry. I got a smoothie and
so that's what you're.
Yeah, I'm very jittery from that. See, the only thing is, it's going to be slightly off when we're bringing in stuff like this. Unless we can change it, like... Alright, so that's a 72, so we need it to add up to 63. Let's see if shortening it by 12 centimeters does the trick. Geometry might just not be on our side.
I'm gonna be honest.
Actually, geometry might be kind of alright with us. Ah, yes, the watermelon crack cocaine flavor. That's my favorite. I consistently get it. Actually, yeah, I think... Nope, I think it's slightly off. I have no clue anymore.
No, you can always add some themes too. Yeah.
It is slightly off, yeah. Here's the
weld that way.
It'll still weld, yeah. man, again, 6 centimeter beam. It'd save our life here. But what we can do instead to fix this is it's a little janky, but it still works. So what we're gonna do is instead of having that 30-degree beam here, is like this. Would the plasma? Oh, that's actually a good. Well, hopefully, a Gobsmack Goose. This thruster will be low enough so that it doesn't hit that part of the ship.
Depends on
That-
how thick your flume would be. It sucks.
Also, if it does actually become an issue, what we'll do is we'll go to our materials and we'll find out materials with the highest corrosion resistance. It might be a Gesium, actually. Or Daltium. Okay, that's very corrosion resistant. 1400. That's very good. But we'll just use that and put that right where the thruster might lick the bottom there. And then just use that to protect our ship. But okay, so using these 30-degree beams, it is lining up a lot better than what we had before. I do like that. It gives us a lot more room to work with. I'm not sure how much I like it, because it does look very extended. We need the ship to be longer. That's the issue.
You'll probably have to wait until they raise the build limit.
Yeah. To make it like... Because ideally, with this, what we'd have to do is move it forward maybe 2 sections of these. But we can't get that, so we're just going to work with it. May look a little wonky, but it gives us a lot more space on the interior of the ship, which is very much needed.
Unless you're gonna scale it down, or I think that's the only thing.
Scale it down. Psh. What do I look like? So we can do something kind of like this and just figure out a way to connect it. Because these are a little off. But that's just because it's, you know, working from the side. That's on, though. And yeah, more like the real scale Nebulon-B. If we had to do the capital ship version of that, of this ship, that would probably be a little bit better for our sanity and all that.
I mean, there's the opposite option. You could make your station look like a Nebulon-B.
Why? As in, bruh.
Yes.
You guys are giving me terrible ideas. Also, this might be an issue. So this is another issue with building and from different directions. So one side of the ship is using a certain kind of beam and the other side of the ship is using a different kind. And so when they meet in the middle, it's a little bit off. Yeah. And make my entire company into the Nebulon-B. Here, let's see. So let's build an almost equivalent beam. Trademark. And, Mike, so you can sell them. It's a little bit wonky, I will say. We actually want 48. If you don't have, like, if you're not able to sell them in a ship shop, then it's a little weird, but
I mean, as of right now, the ownership system isn't really properly fully implemented yet, so
yeah.
you can give access to other people, but you cannot just actually give the entire thing to them.
The almost equivalent beam is still too short. Maybe if we raise it up this much? That's going to be too high, I think. We love doing testing with the almost equivalent beam. Yeah, so 36 is too high. So let's try putting in a 24. That might be too low.
Oh, Messiah, why have you forsaken us?
This is like committing sacrilege to the bolt god or the beam god, I don't know. Alright, we're still short a little bit. So we want to take this. So we've got a 48 and a 24. So that adds up to be a 72. So we want to take a 72 down a notch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this 36, or that 48, and we're going to turn it into a 36. Yeah, if the beam god still walked this stream, you would be appalled. Oof. Yeah, that'd be a rough one. But yeah, bolts for the bolt god, you know, that kind of... There we go. Ah, oh, it's so close, yet so far. Like, that's got to be, you know, less than a centimeter off. Less than.
I have no clue. Probably, to be honest. Probably.
Here, let me try and explain what I'm. You see, there's the issue. Now, is this as much of a bad issue? No. So, we're gonna roll with it. Yeah, microgaps are gonna happen on any ship.
That's
See,
sufficiently big and a lot of grid.
Yeah, this is fine. Like, this microgap is fine because when we're putting plates on, we're still going to be able to plate them properly. We're just going to have to make sure that we build from the front backwards, and we'll be fine. So, yeah. But so, just so that everybody, you know, like, so everyone's on the same page. It might not be the greatest, all right? It might not be the greatest, but that's okay in my eyes. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I just said hi.
Oh, hi. By the way, I am streaming, so just heads up.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, so guys, like, this ship, I'm doing it for fun. So, like, it's okay if things are a little bit off and all that. Like, in the end, it'll work out.
That's the one I said don't forward, Paul. That's fine.
Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And, Flop, you can't send links in the chat. So if you're going to send links, you're going to have to do it in the Discord. And welding gaps, good question. Soon, I hope, but they're behind on a lot of stuff. So,
Is that ever gonna be a thing?
yes, actually.
So you're still doing the Imperial Nebulon?
Yep. Gonna be doing it for the next... I don't want to... I'm gonna be doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Nathan, this Nebulon will actually have color scheme to it, so don't you worry.
May I suggest a disco theme?
Disco theme. We could take. I'm not sure how many of you people know, but we could take like inspiration from how Austin Powers paints like his plane. I don't know how many of you know of Austin Powers at all.
What's Austin Powers?
It's a
yeah, baby, yeah. Gorilla knows of the powers.
yes, it's a British spy movie, and
It's a James Bond parody.
Yeah, and he's a playboy from like he was like frozen in time, and they unfreeze him to deal with Dr. Evil, and like he's still a playboy through all of this. And
It's like a 60s British playboy brought back into the 2000s or 90s.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I love seeing the little quotes you guys put in there in chat. That movie, like, it just, I don't know, it's something. And yeah, no worries, Flop. Just had to disable them because of the amount of bots that were coming in here. So
Freaking bots. Need to zap them with freaking sharks and freaking laser beams on them. Yes, the Gorillazilla knows Austin Powers.
yes. The freaking sharks with their freaking laser beams. Ugh. Damn. Alright, so that's a little too high. So let's see. So this is a 96. Let's see if we can do a 48 in the 36 and make up for it. Yeah, the $1 million.
Oh, God.
Did that?
Just look.
Okay.
Hey Sim, could you make me like full member of the company in game if you have time after
Yeah.
stream maybe?
Yeah. Here, I'll just do it real quick.
Okay.
It's funny how Dr. Evil at first tries to extort the governments for like what kind of pathetic amount of money, and then someone basically says that's not enough. And it's right, $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, and once he eventually, with all the time travel stuff, once he like is like, oh, I want, 1 trillion or however many dollars he wanted, and they're like laughing at him. Yeah,
$1 billion.
that amount of money hasn't even been made yet. Also, I'm gonna shuffle this beam back just so that we can get a little bit of extra space up here, so that if we do decide to put a thing, we can.
Oh no, I see cast angle.
Do you want to know why the building tool doesn't work half the time when you're trying to build shit off a blueprint?
I have no idea. I only know it happens. And I am in pain.
It's extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
Yes.
This part right here is gonna frustrate me for all of the history of this ship, but that's okay.
If you played it enough, you won't see it.
Ooh, okay, I see your blueprint Flop. Nice.
Alright, here's another question for you.
Alright,
Do
hit
you
me.
know how to reattach a door to its hinge?
I think that's possible.
Yeah.
You pray hard enough, and there might be a bug that makes you do it.
You're gonna have to go through the 5
If
stages
you have
of
the
grief.
old door with the hinge on it, then you can bolt it back on, I think. Guess.
Yeah, do I have to bolt the hinge or something? Like, how do I...
Yeah, you like if the hinge is broken apart, I don't think you can attach it, but
You have to use a new hinge in that case.
yeah, and on one side must be a hinge, like on the ship or on the door.
Yeah. Oh, the henchman's families. I forgot about that. Oh.
I don't know what you guys are saying to me. All I know is that this came off of a blueprint, and from repairing the ship that already had a door, repaired the door and the hinges and all the things, and then now it's just I can unattach it.
You're probably doomed.
Hinges and doors in Starbase, like, they're rough. Like, I'm glad they left them in, but on a scale of 1 to rails that aren't even in the game anymore, I really hope they add rails back.
Yeah, rails are nice.
Yeah, because with rails we could do an elevator. and that would be
Now
fun.
I can't even reattach the door. It just told me to go screw off.
Has,
mean-
has anyone an idea how to fix easy build mode? I can't build anything on my ship anymore.
Yeah.
No,
how-
not
how
even
you
the
fix
devs
it?
have an idea.
How you fix it is get out of the building and run as far away as possible.
Yeah, no, I also already got that tip before. To easy build mode.
The issue is that even the devs aren't really, finished fixing it, so probably
Yeah.
no one can.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy build mode seems so unfinished sometimes. Like, why do you have these X and Y parts of the same building
Yeah.
piece?
See, I hate to
You
say
can
it.
just rotate it.
Like you said, it seems so unfinished, and I really just like saying this because I love Starbase, but that's because it is unfinished.
Yeah, no.
I mean, this is early access, such as unfinished as it is.
Yeah, but like in my head,
They
it's one of the
make you-
things that
No, I'm
probably
inside the crate in my ship.
should have been tested in CA, but
Yeah, they should have put it in CA. Or
Yeah.
just made some test version, or I don't know.
yeah. Oh, and
yeah, the game crashed from
oh.
easy build mode.
Yep. So, Mike, you can attach more than just plating to a hinge, but you can't do it with like mining lasers and all that. You can't do it with devices, but you can just put the mining lasers on a turret and use those.
Wait, you can't put mining lasers on hinges? You sure?
You can't. Theoretically, okay. We're going into the realm of theory, all right. Theoretically,
Is there a rule or like
so
a check that the
with
saves it, or
thrusters,
is it...
with thrusters, there's
Yeah,
a
sure.
rule, but with
Yeah, I know.
those,
Other-
I'm not sure.
But everything else, I'm pretty sure you can put on hinges.
Yeah,
Just
like
the
as long
powering
as
is not.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But you can power it through ducts
Also,
with some heresy.
I just realized a fatal mistake. I don't know. I don't think anyone else caught this.
I see all these angles, and I see fatal mistakes.
No, they're two different structures. They're not actually connected to each other. When I thought they were connected to each other this entire time.
Why am I not connected?
You see, it's because I messed up. Oh man, this one's gonna hurt. This one's gonna hurt.
You could just shiv it. Actually, you can't.
Wait,
This
what?
one's gonna hurt.
Why did you
Ugh.
attach the plasma thrusters with so much heresy?
Because they're gonna produce so much thrust, and when you have a ship that produces a lot of thrust, you want it so that it's connected in as many places as possible.
Yeah, I know, but you can just put like beams on both sides of the edge and one at the edge, so you have 3 beams at each
Yeah.
edge.
That's what I'm
That's-
doing. I'm just
but-
making sure because this ship is gonna weigh a lot.
Yeah, but the beams are only halfway connected up the edges.
Mhm.
That's really very weird.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or shorter version because Omnislayer has forsaken us in this game.
Yeah, we've been forsaken.
Yeah.
So
Will I weld? I have doubts.
now it does connect there. It does connect at the front. So when you have too much thrust, or when you have a lot of thrust and you have a very heavy ship, that is going to put tons of structural stress on your
Yeah,
beams.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so the stress is only coming from the thruster and going so far through the beams, so it will stop at some point.
yeah, I'm just trying to explain to one of the guys in chat why it's
Ah,
just like that. So it goes through your ship, and so when you have like multiple thruster points, especially like this, it can also introduce stuff like that.
okay.
And yeah, I think I'm gonna have to select the entire outer frame and change some things because
if you widen it slightly, you could just shift the entire thing down and just slap it
Yeah.
onto the roof of your inner box.
See, I think I've got like 12 centimeters on either side. No, I don't have 12 centimeters.
No.
How is this not? All right.
Why? The build mode is killing me right now.
Yeah. We're gonna
I
do
just
this.
flew out of the area of the build mode, and then my ship just despawned.
All right. We're not gonna delete it.
Poor you.
You have to exit out of easy build mode. Press the period or whatever it came.
Yeah, I know, but I did. I was exited, and then I flew out, and then the ship despawned. Now I am out. I will never enter that area again.
Yeah. Easy build mode is.
It is not easy.
Yeah.
It's neither easy nor does it work.
Easy build mode makes you rethink your definition of easy. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, the outer frame might have messed up that entire part, and that's why it's not properly lined up. So if we do something like...
You probably have to weld it from top.
Yeah, so first off, I'm going to make it a module, so we can actually do this. Heyo.
Hello.
Just heads up, I am streaming, so...
Oh, you're good. You're good. I stream sometimes as well. Thank you
All
for
right.
letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is not mature audience only, so.
Yeah, so... Alright, we need 12 extra centimeters, and that'll fix our ship. Alright. Time to take a sip of my smoothie and reconsider my life.
You know, I'm thinking about doing that, but with a bong hit. So I'll join you.
That...
Let's reconsider together.
You can't hear me, but I just face palmed. Very, very... very much. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so we're turning this from 36 centimeters into 48.
By the way, Sim, about reconsidering your life choices when you're playing 5D chess.
That bong hit was for you, man.
Oh my god.
It was for you. Whoa, man.
Wait,
Alright.
what was that? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, I've never heard that on a stream before.
Fine.
Yeah, new things all the time. Alright.
Certainly woke me up. I was chilling out machine. And also I was dying. I was like, oh shit. Sorry. Pardon me, French.
Whoa, no way.
I took the time to reconsider and everything.
Hitting Alt F4 gets me an extra brain cell? That's a hell of a deal. Alright, we're just gonna toss these on and hope it works. There we go. Alright.
How harsh is actually Twitch on accidental swearing?
It's not Twitch that I'm worried about. Also, somebody's got like speakers that are reverberating, but it's not Twitch that I'm worried about, it's YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Because all of this goes onto YouTube, and I like to make sure that it's clean, or as clean as possible.
You might want to put a beep on that one. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good. Like occasional cursing isn't bad. Like that's perfectly acceptable. But
keep it to a minimum, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned something when streaming with people you don't know. I've learned something that you should put it at mature audiences only, so you don't get in trouble. Because some people will deliberately troll you and swear and say stuff they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
just giving
why.
a piece of advice. I would put it mature audiences if I was you.
No, I
But,
do
you
have
know-
it set to mature audiences. It's just that I like it so that if anyone wants to watch, they're available, and also so it doesn't hurt my monetization.
Yeah, yeah. I understand. I've made tons of videos for YouTube, and
All right, so let's see. Will this snap? Okay, close.
Is one of you the ring finder in game?
I don't think they're in chat or in voice.
Okay. Because I see the ship of the transponder.
Ah, gotcha.
By the way, I was about to make my first SOS call this day because when I was out like 5 kilometers from Origin and tried to refuel, all my fuel rods got deleted.
Ooh.
Like
I'm waiting for. Go ahead.
I took them out of the racks, had them in my hand, go towards the generator, and each time they snapped somewhere and were gone. Like 5 times in a row.
Yeah. I've seen
that-
that happen before, and it sucks.
It was slightly frustrating. And also the tow refund, because I didn't have any money, was
Mhm.
took like 4 hours or something.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm currently waiting for my my rescue ships. Baracco is gonna be building one for me. I'm gonna help him and all that. Get the materials.
Ah, nice.
He's got a really nice ship that he can make with tier 1 building parts. So hopefully I can rescue someone tonight. I hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to rescue someone. I haven't done that yet. I'm pretty new to
Mhm.
the game.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like- I started playing yesterday.
I gotta agree with what Nathan said, and like the biggest problem with answering SOS calls right now is all of the people who are using them are just so far away.
Yeah.
So we need a max speed ship with a whole ton of fuel and a crafting bench and some crates for materials.
Yeah, we really need some like integration or something where you have your YOLO coordinates and then it says who's the next person and they those get the call.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of I feel a lot of things they can add to the game as well that can help us with that.
Like a Discord API for the game would be really cool. Like,
Yeah.
where you have like a chip or something and it pulls some YOLO data and gives it out.
Alright, and now we've got to line up the entire back portion of the ship because it got misaligned.
That sounds fun.
Oh, it really is. I have spent more time doing stupider things, so.
Yeah.
Alright.
By the way, what's your thoughts to the tech tree thing?
The update?
No, generally the tech tree thing with EA launch.
I kind of like it. Are you
Okay.
talking about just the tiers and all that?
Yeah, no, the tech tree where you need to unlock this stuff.
Oh, I'm mixed, to be fair. The tech tree, it's a great idea, and it's necessary to prevent, it prevents a lot of gankers, and it prevents, a lot of the issues we've been having. But Also, just to prevent that, you've got to get in the way of regular players. And getting in the way of regular players is not that great.
Also, technically speaking, the tech tree grind is part of the gameplay, so.
It is, yeah.
Sure, but it's like, do you find it good? The integration good, or like?
Yeah. I don't know. It's mixed bag.
I feel like it's so unfinished, partially.
It does take a while to unlock stuff.
Like, how do you get the idea to put basic tools on like hours of grind? It's just.
I mean, the basic tools, they luckily did fix those. A lot of the issues with how
the tools are cheap, but the workbench you need is still like a few points.
Yeah.
Also the paint. Like the paint tool is the last tool you unlock.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs 20,000 shield research, 35,000 cog research, and 7,000 plate research. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And every color also costs 4,000 or 10,000 or whatever.
Where the heck is the right? What beam is this even selecting? What the?
You can sometimes there are empty tools that like modules that have nothing in them.
Yeah, I think that's what it might be conflicting with. Because this is a little annoying. But I guess it's all in the process.
You can just look when you click on the module, and then you see in one of the windows.
No, I'm familiar, yeah.
This guy is 14,000 kilometers out?
What's wrong with him?
Did he mistype?
He might have mistyped because it said 14,141 kilometers. Oh, origin 14. Okay, never mind. I read that wrong.
Okay.
I can probably help him with my ship.
141 is, yeah.
Third time's the charm.
It needs to be towed.
So I would need that a special attachment on my ship.
You need
just give him the money to tow his ship.
No, you can only tow a ship within safe zone. 140 is not within.
It's 140. I thought it was like not so. Okay.
Also, if all you need is cash, we'd probably just let him go grind it himself.
You can't tow outside of the safe zone?
Nope.
Not with the station towing thing. That is something you can only do when your ship is still inside the safe zone.
Yeah.
Other than that, you need a ship that's capable of carrying the whole thing.
Yeah, because I've noticed there are ships with these beams, like a tractor beam or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but you can't tow ships.
Oh man, they really need to let you do that.
Yeah, it did work with like these cargo lock beams. You could lock ships.
It's a long-standing issue with how clients interact with each other in the game.
Yeah.
Yes. There's
also,
even if everything works well, there's also the issue if you need a whole lot of thrust to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's tractor beams, which should be for towing, but I don't know why they make them not for towing. They have not enough force.
They are for manipulating.
Yeah, right. They're for like factories, but I don't know
Yeah.
why you call them tractor beams then, because tractor beams, like tractor doesn't manipulate it, tows stuff. I guess.
Yeah. Then hey, Crusader, welcome. Yeah, and it's off by 12 centimeters.
Nice.
Pain.
That, sometimes it hurts. Hey, welcome to the stream.
But if it's exactly 12 centimeters, it won't be that big of a problem.
Is the paint tool bugged? I don't think so.
I don't know. It's just behind like
I mean, I don't
100k research point.
have anything. I can.
To be honest, if I really want to rush it, I can, but no thank you.
Paint tool's not bugged.
I don't know.
Alright, but we need to turn this. So that's a 36 and a 96. So
Yes, he's talking about the character one.
the pistol paint. I don't know. I don't have that tool. Yeah.
How did you unlock it? It's like so many points.
If you really rush it, you can do that.
It's just, I don't know, why do you put a paint tool behind so many points? I don't know.
I don't know.
Choice we can play. We have seen worse.
Hope we
By the way,
don't.
so apparently the reconstruction machine I unlocked a few days earlier, that thing is only for ships. Apparently for station ones, you have to wait until they implement it and probably have to grind the shit out of it to cancel.
What did you say?
The reconstruction machine.
Ah, okay. You can put it in the factory halls and stations, I think. But it's not insurance transfer. You can only transfer from within like a few kilometers.
Oh no, the issue is that is not for station. That's only for ship.
Well,
If you go look at the roadmap, that is for Q4.
can you just park a ship with a reconstruction machine at a station? I just do the
Yeah,
same job.
yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure you can put a reconstruction machine in factory halls.
Yes.
On station.
I don't know about factory hall because that shit is so bugged that we can't even see it.
Okay, because I watched Sankey stream like yesterday, and he was doing stuff with factory halls, and it worked pretty fine.
You mean one of the devs?
No, not that.
No,
like
Sankey is another streamer.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
he did build like a gas station on the factory hall.
Yeah, because it's been bugged for a bit now. Huh. Well, we'll have to check that out this weekend.
Work on the SOS station or start like.
I mean, yeah, it's there and there's stuff on it, but again, like it's a little bit lackluster because for the longest time, we haven't been able to use those factory bits. And
What's the problem with them?
You just can't use them. You can't enter. Like the issue was you couldn't enter them.
Okay.
And
then that seems to be fixed.
Yeah. So we'll have to check those out and get some factory stuff going. Why is that? Oh, I think I accidentally colored that beam. And that one. Huh.
I heard that making cable tool ammo with Valkorium and selling that to the NPCs was a good way of making money. Is this still true?
It used to be, but then I believe they nerfed the economy.
Oh, fair play. Thanks for that. So I know was thinking of doing it, but I'll pass now.
I would double check with Miraja. Wait a
If you
second.
can sell anything to the station, so
I suppose it's fair enough that they nerfed the NPC economy, because I think that was really just to get us started, you know, to get a bit of money in the system so we can start doing our own.
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really agree with the whole auction house economy.
Can I say what problems have you had with it? I mean,
Yeah, I mean the problem is like it's a bit tedious to use. Like you need to look for the right auction, and then you need to know if the price is like extremely high, and you should just wait a minute until another auction comes with a better price and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see Sparacco today?
I think we saw him a bit earlier. He also did post his ship on the unofficial ship submission.
Yeah, it's been in official ship designs.
Where's that?
It's in the Discord.
Down in the text channel.
Official or unofficial?
Official.
Is that official?
Yeah,
It's an unofficial.
Oh, the new one? Wait, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the big chonky or the...
I think the newest one is in unofficial.
He posted on the unofficial ship design the laser and the long range rescue.
Alright.
And laser mine.
I need to figure out what this is colliding with.
By the way, anyone wants to make like an official design and wants to put my SOS logo replica of the
I definitely need that ship, man.
Alright.
So how do I just download the file? Is that it?
Yeah.
There are instructions in the official...
You download the file and then you put it in your autosaves file, and then you can use it.
There are a lot of instructions just pinned all over the place.
Is it? You said it's in the...
everywhere.
It's in officials. You said official ship designs. The instructions.
Officials.
The new one.
And DOS.
Roger that.
And private code and tag.
All right.
Yeah, everywhere.
Why is this? Oh.
So anyone has a SOS ship design of you, like, and wants to put my decal SOS logo on it?
I think Sparkle preferred to add his own.
Yeah, I know he put the SOS like letters on. I did just make the Discord logo in decal and a while ago in CA.
Did you post it on Dio's chat or?
I think I posted it on DOS, I guess. You can search for it. Was it also good in the Facebook chat?
Yes, I do see that. But how big is that plate?
It's a 144 by 144 plate.
Oh yeah, we use it.
Yeah.
Has tank A, which is the main tanks, and tank B, which are spared.
That's nice.
There we go.
It's not.
Now, it's still off. Shoot.
By the way, why are we in mining wars?
It's still off. It's still off. It's not good. We're close. Alright, so I need to bring it over 24 to the left, I think? Or 12. Because if I uncop 24 here, then I add 20... Yeah, it needs to be 24. So we need to pull that off. And then we need to add over here. Is this a module? Like, detach, create. Now, I don't know where the module selection bit is, but... Oh my god. Alright. So, we'll take this off here. And then instead we'll align it right here. And then, so we need to add 24 over here. So we need to add this right there. And we haven't in a while, but so it's been a while, yeah. Yeah, welcome to the stream. It's always nice to see people on here for the first time. It's always kind of fun. And other Max is, well, there's the one in chat. There's Lazy Max and Other Max. Other Max, yeah, he's always been busy, and it kind of sucks when trying to schedule stuff. Yeah, we may actually play some games together later this week, so I might stream those potentially. I don't know, because I haven't been able to talk to him in a while. So soon, TM, soon. But there we go. Okay, now it's lined up. We're good. It's nice. And yes, Risk of Rain 2. And I got some of the mod clients and everything as well. So. And yes, we could always use more crew on Carrier Command too, because we still need 1 or 2 more crew members to help us not die. That too. Alright. So. I think that's pretty good for today, because I did just hit the 2-hour mark, and you guys know I like to keep these a little bit below 2 hours, but I think we got some good shaping progress today. Here, let's bring these back in, and yeah, for real, it is like Carrier Command. It's a lot of fun. I will say it's so much fun. But it is a little pricey. Alright, so just like that. And then that'll be our section there. And yeah. Okay, I added a couple more than 3 beams. Like, we did make the outer superstructure back there. It's a long process. Plus responding to all of this stuff slows it down. But yeah, it's going to be a long process making this ship, but that's the way it is. So, but yeah, so thank you all for watching. If you missed any part of this and want to see it on YouTube, it will be going up in the next couple of days. So, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.